On the evening of May 3, 2007, a 3-year-old girl vanished from a holiday apartment in a quiet Portuguese resort town. Her name was Madeleine McCann, and nearly 2 decades later, she has never been found. No one has been convicted of any crime in connection with her disappearance. And the case that shocked the world continues, to this day, to remain one of the most watched, most debated, and most heartbreaking unsolved mysteries of the 21st century. This is the full story. Madeleine Beth McCann was born on May 12, 2003, in Leicester, England. She was the eldest child of Kate and Gerry McCann, both doctors, and the older sister of twins Sean and Emily, who were just 2 years old at the time of her disappearance. By all accounts, Madeleine was a bright, energetic, and happy little girl. She had distinctive eyes. Her right iris had a small, unusual coloboma, a dark blemish that her parents would later use as one of the most recognizable identifying features in the global search for their daughter. In May 2007, Madeleine was 3 years old, just 3 weeks shy of her 4th birthday. She would never reach it. The McCann family had traveled to Praia da Luz, a small resort town in the Algarve region of southern Portugal, for a holiday with a group of friends. They were staying at the Ocean Club Resort, in apartment 5A. On the evening of May 3rd, Kate and Gerry McCann and their friends dined at the Tapas Bar, located within the resort complex approximately 50 meters from the apartment where Madeleine and the twins were sleeping. The adults took turns checking on their children throughout the evening. At around 9:05 p.m., Gerry McCann checked on the children. All 3 were asleep. Everything appeared normal. At approximately 10 p.m., Kate McCann went to check on the children. The bedroom door was open wider than she had left it. She entered the room. Madeleine's bed was empty. Kate McCann ran back to the tapas bar. "Madeleine's gone," she said. Those 2 words would set in motion one of the largest and most complex missing persons investigations in history. The alarm was raised immediately. Local police, the Policia Judiciaria, were called to the scene. Resort staff and holiday guests joined the search. But Praia da Luz is a small town, with access to the sea, the countryside, and the wider Algarve region. And in those critical first hours, Madeleine McCann simply could not be found. The following morning, the story broke internationally. Within days, Madeleine's face, her blonde hair, her blue eyes, her distinctive coloboma, was on the front page of newspapers across the world. A global search had begun. Kate and Gerry McCann appealed directly to the public, to governments, and to anyone who might have information. The Find Madeleine campaign was launched, and the world watched and waited. In the months that followed, the Portuguese investigation took a direction that would divide public opinion and devastate the McCann family. In September 2007, 4 months after Madeleine vanished, Portuguese police named both Kate and Gerry McCann as arguidos, a formal status under Portuguese law that indicates a person is a suspect in a criminal investigation. A former family friend and Ocean Club worker, Robert Murat, had previously been named as an arguido in May 2007, the first suspect formally identified in the case. The evidence cited by Portuguese authorities against the McCanns included forensic traces found in the apartment and in a hire car rented by the family weeks after Madeleine's disappearance. Kate and Gerry McCann consistently and vehemently denied any involvement in their daughter's disappearance. Their legal teams challenged the forensic evidence, and subsequent analysis raised significant questions about its reliability. In July 2008, more than a year after Madeleine's disappearance, Portuguese prosecutors officially shelved the investigation. The arguido status of Kate McCann, Gerry McCann, and Robert Murat was lifted. The prosecutor's report acknowledged that there was insufficient evidence to charge anyone in connection with Madeleine's disappearance. It also raised the possibility that Madeleine may have died in the apartment, but stressed that this was not proven. The McCann family rejected that conclusion entirely and renewed their calls for the investigation to continue. With the Portuguese investigation shelved and no suspects formally charged, the case entered a long and painful period of uncertainty. The Find Madeleine campaign continued. Kate McCann published a book in 2011 titled Simply Madeleine, in which she detailed the family's experience and maintained her belief that their daughter was still alive and could be found. Tips poured in from around the world. But year after year passed with no breakthrough. Madeleine McCann remained missing. In 2011, the British government took the extraordinary step of authorizing a review of the case by the Metropolitan Police Service. That review, known as Operation Grange, was launched in May 2011 at the request of Prime Minister David Cameron, following lobbying by the McCann family. Operation Grange initially reviewed existing evidence before being upgraded to a full criminal investigation in 2013. The Metropolitan Police worked alongside Portuguese and German authorities, identifying new persons of interest and following up leads that the original investigation had not fully explored. Operation Grange has cost the British taxpayer millions of pounds over more than a decade, and has faced questions about its value and direction. But its investigators have consistently maintained that they believe Madeleine McCann is the victim of a crime, and that the case remains very much live. In 2020, the case took a dramatic new turn. German prosecutors publicly named Christian Brückner, a 43-year-old German national with a lengthy criminal history, including drug offenses and sexual crimes against children, as their prime suspect in Madeleine's disappearance. Brückner had lived in the Algarve region of Portugal at the time of Madeleine's disappearance in 2007. Phone data placed him in the Praia da Luz area on the night of May 3rd. He was already serving a 7-year prison sentence in Germany for the rape of a 72-year-old American woman in Praia da Luz in 2005, just 2 years before Madeleine vanished. German prosecutor Hans Christian Walters said publicly that investigators were certain Madeleine was dead, and that Brückner was responsible. Brückner has denied any involvement in Madeleine's disappearance, and has not been charged in connection with her case. The German investigation into Brückner has faced significant legal challenges. In 2024, Brückner was put on trial in Braunschweig, Germany, not for Madeleine's disappearance, but for a series of serious sexual offenses against other victims in Portugal between 2000 and 2017. The trial was seen as a potential stepping stone, with prosecutors hoping that a conviction would strengthen their position in any future case connected to Madeleine. However, in 2025, the Braunschweig court acquitted Brückner of all charges in that trial, citing insufficient evidence. The acquittal was a significant blow to investigators and raised fresh questions about whether anyone will ever be formally charged in connection with Madeleine's disappearance. Brückner remains a named suspect, but has not been charged. In parallel with the German and British investigations, Portuguese authorities reopened their own inquiry into Madeleine's disappearance. In 2022, Portuguese police launched a fresh investigation, working alongside their British and German counterparts. That investigation included new searches of land in the Algarve region. In 2023, a significant search was carried out at a reservoir, the Arguido Reservoir, near Silves in Portugal, approximately 50 kilometers from Praia da Luz. The search lasted several days and involved specialist divers and forensic teams. No evidence directly linked to Madeleine was publicly confirmed as having been found during the search. Nearly 2 decades after Madeleine McCann vanished, several fundamental questions remain unanswered. What happened to Madeleine in apartment 5A on the night of May 3, 2007? Was she taken by someone, and if so, by whom? Is Christian Brückner responsible, and will he ever face charges? Is Madeleine McCann alive? And if she is not, where is she? These are questions that Kate and Gerry McCann have asked every single day for nearly 20 years. Never be fully answered. As of 2026, the investigation into Madeleine McCann's disappearance remains open. Operation Grange continues, though with a reduced team and a significantly reduced budget compared to its peak years. German prosecutors maintain that Christian Brückner is their prime suspect, despite the acquittal in the Braunschweig trial. Portuguese investigators continue their work. Madeleine McCann, if she is alive, would be 22 years old today. Her parents have never stopped searching. They have never stopped hoping. And the world has never stopped watching. Madeleine McCann was 3 years old when she disappeared from a holiday apartment in Portugal on the evening of May 3, 2007. She had a smile that lit up a room, a laugh that filled it, and a distinctive mark in her right eye that her parents described to every journalist, every police officer, and every member of the public who would listen. Nearly 2 decades have passed, No conviction, no confirmed answers, no closure. Just a family still searching, a world still watching, and a little girl who deserves to be found. If you have any information about the disappearance of Madeleine McCann, please contact the Metropolitan Police on 0207 321 9251 or Interpol through their national bureaus. If you found this documentary informative, please subscribe so you don't miss our next report.